The fog clung to Ravensbrook like a shroud, a thick, damp blanket that muffled the sounds of the world and made the cobblestone streets feel like they were sinking into the earth. I'd come here seeking solace, a quiet corner of the world to mend the tattered remnants of my soul. My past was a heavy weight, a gnawing guilt that followed me like a shadow. I was a writer, a weaver of stories, but my own life had become a tangled mess of nightmares I couldn't escape. I found the Midnight Library by accident, drawn to it by a strange, almost magnetic pull. Its imposing Gothic architecture stood out against the ramshackle houses of the town, a stark reminder of some forgotten grandeur. It was hidden behind tall iron gates, the intricate carvings on the stonework casting long, menacing shadows in the dim light. The library only appeared at midnight, a ghostly apparition shrouded in the mist. I was a writer, my curiosity was a curse, and I was compelled to enter. Inside, the air was heavy with the scent of old parchment and dust. Shelves stretched endlessly into the darkness, crammed with books bound in leather and faded cloth. The flickering candlelight cast eerie shadows on the walls, making the library feel like a living, breathing entity. The books were filled with stories, not of fictional heroes and fantastical lands, but of the lives of the townsfolk themselves. Each book detailed their deepest secrets, their hidden fears, their unfulfilled desires, and they were all disturbingly accurate. I read about the baker's affair with the butcher's wife, the shopkeeper's secret gambling addiction, and the young woman who had murdered her lover in a fit of jealous rage. Then I saw a book with my own name on it. It spoke of my past, of the tragic accident that had shattered my life and left me drowning in a sea of guilt. It revealed secrets I thought were buried deep within me, secrets I hadn't even dared to confess to myself. Each night the library's books changed, the stories shifting and evolving, predicting sinister events that began to come true. The baker's wife ran away with her lover, the shopkeeper lost everything in a game of cards, and the young woman, driven by the haunting memory of her crime, took her own life. I tried to warn the townsfolk, to tell them about the library and the stories that foretold their doom. But they dismissed me, their eyes filled with fear and suspicion. Some even turned hostile, insisting the library didn't exist, that I was mad. They were trapped in a loop of self-deception, unwilling to acknowledge the truth that was staring them in the face. The more I read, the more I uncovered about a malevolent entity that controlled the library, feeding on the fear and despair of those who entered. The entity was a manifestation of collective guilt and trauma, a dark force born from a forgotten atrocity committed by the town's ancestors. It was a curse, a twisted echo of their sins, and I was caught in its grip. My own past was intricately linked to this dark legacy, and the entity was using my guilt and my need for redemption to draw me into its web. The more I delved into the library's secrets, the more I became a part of its story, my fate intertwined with its malevolent power. The climax came on a night shrouded in the thickest fog I had ever seen. I stood in the heart of the library, my heart pounding like a drum in my chest. The books were silent, the air thick with anticipation. The entity was waiting for me, its presence a chilling, unseen force. The book with my own name on it was open, its pages filled with stories of my life, all leading to this moment. I understood then that I couldn't escape my past, that I had to confront the entity, to break the curse that bound me in the town. The final chapter of my story was a battle of wills, a confrontation with the darkness that had haunted me for so long. And in that moment, I learned that the true horror was not the entity itself, but the power of guilt, the way it could consume and destroy, turning us into prisoners of our own past. The ending was not a happy one, but it was a necessary one. The entity was defeated, its power broken, but the town remained shrouded in the fog of its past, its residents forever marked by the sins of their ancestors. And as for me, I was left with the burden of knowing the truth, the responsibility of carrying the weight of their sins. The Midnight Library remained, a silent monument to the darkness that lurks within us all, a reminder that the most terrifying stories are often the ones we tell ourselves.
Like and subscribe for more.